Welcome, everybody. My name is Scott Conklin. I'm the Director of Admissions at Episcopal High School, and I'm here with teachers from our Modern Languages department. So we're excited to share more about the opportunities in languages at Episcopal, some classes that are offered, opportunities to have a broad experiences, and answer some questions. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our Modern Languages team to introduce themselves. Maybe start with you, Eleanor.
Thanks, Scott. My name's Eleanor Moore, and I am the chair of the Modern and Classical Languages Department. I've been at Episcopal High School since 1999, and my husband and I live on campus with our three children, one of whom graduated last spring, and two others, a junior and a freshman here. Other responsibilities that I have at the school include campus supervisor. I've worked on the yearbook in the past, although I don't do that now, and coached various sports, and have been teaching French here since I arrived in 1999. Thanks.
Douglas or Hannah, whoever wants to go next.
Go, Hannah.
Guten Tag, I am Frau Professor Hannah Ellington. I teach German, 1, 2, and 3 at the moment. We're hoping to include 4 and AP as we move forward. I also teach an English elective based on Grimm's fairy tales. There is very little German involved in that. I'm an alum. I'm class of 2003. I live on campus in the freshman girls dorm, and I also coach JV field hockey.
All right, my name is Douglas Daza Quintero, and this is my third year with Episcopal High School. I currently teach Spanish 4 and 3 honors, and I've also taught linguistics. That is actually my background, and some of my previous roles include teaching Spanish at the high school level in another boarding school in Florida at the community level, and I've also taught English as a second language for the immigrant population in South Florida. Some of my other roles in school include Mi Gente, the Mi Gente Affinity Club, the GSA Club, and the Community Service Group.
Great, thanks everybody. Do you want to spend a few minutes just kind of highlighting different areas of what we offer in modern languages and some of the program philosophy?
Sure, thanks, Scott. I'll start with that, and then Hannah and Douglas have a couple add areas in as you'd like. In general, our program requires that a student study a language for 3 years, earning the 3 credits toward graduation, and that final credit is earned at EHS. We, of course, encourage our students to complete the requirement. If they've completed the requirement by the end of their junior year, we encourage them to continue and study at the next level in the language. And so we do offer a lot of opportunities, a range of levels in several of the languages, and some electives as well. I'm hoping Douglas can talk a bit about the linguistics. And we also have Greek 1 and 2 as electives, and the Global Online Academy offerings, which include Japanese and Arabic in levels 1 and 2. So I think I'll let maybe Hannah, you could speak to the study abroad a bit, and I can add in with other details there, but you take it away with study abroad.
Yeah, so we in the German department, we have an exchange program with a school in Vienna, Austria called the Theresianum. They bring their students in October, and then we take a group in the spring for about 10 days. We see Vienna and Salzburg and a bunch of other cities in Austria, and we've had that going, oh gosh, 25 years now, I think, that connection. When I was a student here, I went on the exchange, and then I actually went and spent an extended period of time teaching at Theresianum, teaching English. So it's a really nice program that we have, and they're a great school that we have this connection with.
I'll just add in a little bit to that is that we also have a similar program in France that with a school in Paris and called Lycée Stanislas with students coming here in the spring, and then we send students there in June. And Douglas, you want to speak to the Spanish exchange?
Definitely. We also have an exchange program in Spain, where we go to the Andalusia region in the south of Spain, in Seville, to be more specific. It is a wonderful 3-week exchange opportunity where we go and visit, and students actually live with host families from school in Seville. And in exchange, the students come to visit us in Episcopal for 2 weeks. This is a wonderful opportunity to go to a language school that is located in Old Town Seville, where students have access to many historical points in Seville that have marked the history and the combination of different cultures, the Muslim culture, the Jewish culture, and the Christian culture. And students get to experience that firsthand during this trip.
In addition to those programs within our own school and the exchanges with our partner schools, we also have students who occasionally choose to participate in School Year Abroad, and that is a year-long process that is open to sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So we always have something that we're presenting with ideas for the students to explore abroad, if possible. Any other things? Maybe we can talk about some of the electives. Douglas, would you like to talk about linguistics?
Definitely, yes. And I actually, as I'm looking at the bullet points that we have here, things that are important for us in the language department, I'm thinking about how one of the main objectives that we have as language teachers is to broaden the understanding of culture in our students, for them to become global citizens that are globally competent. And that's one of the things that I most like about the linguistics class, is that it's so multidisciplinary, where we get to analyze language from the points of view of so many disciplines. And this leads us to very interesting conversations that have to do with cognitive linguistics, that have to do with language acquisition, that have to do with social linguistics. And in exploring social linguistics, we get to explore many issues of social relevance. And it's very interesting to see how students from all the perspectives and the different passions that they bring into the classroom get to explore this at a very personal level.
All right. Well, thanks for the introduction and overview of the modern languages offered at Episcopal. There are a couple slides here of some of our teachers. Eleanor, I don't know if you wanted to kind of just talk about each subject a little bit, or highlight some of the teachers. But
sure. Well, we have Julie Wang, who is teaching Chinese, and we really have a wonderful program there. She is also always encouraging students to apply to different programs abroad in China, and can say, we've had several students sort of on independent programs within China, and we're exploring options for our own school with exchanges in the future. But she teaches Chinese 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then, of course, you see Hannah and German. And as she said, we are probably expanding those years. And we've had students independently study to take the advanced placement exam in the past. We've had various levels of German students right up through for levels 4 and 5 here. Bodhi Amos and I make up the French department, and in French we offer French 1 through really as high as you'd like to go, because both Bodhi and I enjoy French literature and art and history, and so we offer the advanced courses there in advanced language and culture, as well as advanced topics in literature. In our classics department, Jeff Street and David Jacobson. Devin teaches part-time with us, and Latin. He teaches Latin, and Jeff is our resident expert on Latin and Greek, as well as a real expert with the rare books that our school has, that he has a wealth of knowledge to share with our students and with our faculty. Beyond that, in the Spanish department, we have Douglas, who's here, and And then a great team of wonderful teachers: Catherine Garcia, Norman Kim Sr., Rocío Mendizabal, Sam Slack, Yvonne Solis, and Amila Williams. And within the Spanish department, our offerings range from, again, Spanish 1 all the way through advanced language and culture and advanced Spanish literature. And I should say, as I kind of touched on with the German, in all of these languages, we have had students who are so enthusiastic about it that they do continue if they reach beyond their beyond our course offerings into the independent study realm. And so that is a real plus, that our teachers are happy to encourage that independent study within the language.
Great. Thanks, everybody. So I'm going to ask some questions to the group, and there's no order to it. Everyone can chime in and whenever you're ready. But I guess the first question would be, what do you love about working in the modern language department, and how does being at a boarding school perhaps give you a different level of experience with a kid in terms of the opportunities to see them outside the classroom, opportunities to engage with them in extra help sessions. So I guess that's two questions there.
I mean, I can speak as someone relatively new to boarding culture, and the opportunities that it offers when it comes to the interaction is the spontaneous kind of points of contact that you have with students. Not every interaction has to be super scheduled. Not every question that they have for you has to wait until the next time they see you in the classroom or for office hours, but sometimes it's just as easy as running across each other on a hallway. And I really love that kind of personal touch and spontaneous following up, and the opportunity that they have to reach out to their teachers.
Yeah, I'll add to that. I have students, that I encounter in the dorm or on the field or in passing, and it warms my heart to hear "Guten Tag, Frau Professor." Even just little things, whatever level they're at, they have the ability to engage in the language outside of the classroom with me and with each other. There have been spontaneous conversations between some of my German 3s and German 1s, very basic stuff, but they're able to have a little conversation, and they are so proud and amazed that they're able to do this. And those moments don't happen. I've taught in public school. At 3 o'clock, they go home, and that's it. So the opportunity for them to interact both with us as teachers outside of the classroom in a more casual setting, and then with each other, I think it's just fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I've always loved working with students, whatever the the level of language acquisition may be, and to see their progress. And I think living here on campus, I'm able to, for instance, on a Washington program day, or maybe even a long class period, if they're studying food, invite them to my home and we can prepare a meal. And I think those sorts of experiences with the students really are invaluable and make the learning fun and really engaging.
All right, next question. Can you talk a little bit about a new student coming in and how they're placed into classes at the appropriate level? And we also have a lot of students that have expressed interest in studying 2 languages, and how might that look for them during their time at EHS?
I can take that one, and then feel free to add in too, Douglas and Hannah. But I'll start by saying that we do go through a process of placement starting in late spring, and that is something that it is flexible, so that once the student arrives, if it seems like there needs to be a change, if the placement hasn't been exactly accurate, there's a period of time when that can be taken care of. So there's no need to be concerned. But we take great care in evaluating the students' level in the language, and also paying attention to their former teachers' recommendations, and any sort of comments that the students or the students' parents might have to that.
Great, thanks, Eleanor. And how about being close to Washington D.C. affords us a lot of opportunities through our the classroom and extending beyond our campus. But can each of you speak to kind of how you might integrate Washington into your programs and classes?
Sure, I'll start. So obviously things are a little different right now, but generally speaking, there is something called the Goethe Institute, named after the famous playwright Goethe, and they are sort of German central in America for German language learning, and they have offices in New York and DC and LA and things like that, and they sponsor cultural events. They show films, they do cooking classes, they have conversation groups that meet, and so I anticipate we'll be involved with them quite a bit. And in addition to that, once we get the culture back, once we're able to go to the Kennedy Center, things like that, I anticipate us going to see some German opera. For example, last year they did a production of The Magic Flute, which is a great one to start with. I have a musical background myself, and so that's something really fun that I like to bring to the students. There's just, DC always has something new. We also talk a lot with the embassies. The German ones have a Tag der offenen Tür, which is like come visit us day, where you get to just show up, and many schools do, and they just kind of tell you what's up. And the Austrian and Swiss embassies have something similar.
And I can also mention the convenience of living in such a multicultural area where students get to interact with many communities. From my particular discipline, I can speak about the Hispanic communities that they have the chance to interact with, not only through the Washington program, but through the Community Service Project. Through the Community Service Project, we go to an area that is very close to school, called Arlandria, some people call it, or Little Chirilagua, and students get to see and to experience other children their age or younger, their culture, their backgrounds, and practice the language with them. Now, from the perspective of the specific Washington program, we've had the opportunity to visit embassies, to visit exhibits in the different museums that have to do with the many influence that Latin America has, not only from the Spanish heritage, but from our wonderful indigenous heritage as well. And from the perspective of my linguistics class, there is a museum that just opened in March, which is called Planet World, which is an amazing, wonderful journey that goes from language acquisition through actually sampling different languages from around the world. And this is an experience that I cannot wait to be able to share with our students once things go back to normal, hopefully as soon as possible.
Did you have anything to add, Eleanor?
I think they covered it really well, and I do think the opportunities are wonderful. The French students have been to various embassies as well, the Haitian embassy, and there are events that occur at the Maison Française, which is linked to the French embassy, and just in general, the opportunities to engage with different NGOs in the city, with even alums who have found positions in all walks of life, able to come back and share those experiences with our students. It gives them a real, a way to see how learning a language can help them in their own future, and how much it really does add to their own personal makeup.
Yeah, we're so fortunate to have those resources right beyond the gates. Last question, and then if anyone has any closing kind of comments, but and you've all kind of touched on the language immersion trips that happen. Can you talk a little bit more about how many students might go on those? what's required to attend those trips? What does it look like for the students that are hosting the exchange students when they come to campus? Just a little bit more detail around the exchange programs.
Sure. So all three of the programs, the one in Austria, the one in Spain, and the one in France that Episcopal organizes, they're pretty long-standing and with some very similar schools, partnered with similar schools to our own. And so on the Episcopal side of the exchange, our students often just volunteer, but if our students are actually planning to travel abroad on the other side of the Atlantic, then they are the hosts for the students who are coming. We also have an exchange, a very small exchange in Chile for a couple of students, girls at the moment, although we're hoping to have a partner school with a boys' school in the future. And so those students from the other schools come and live in our dorms and go to our school classes for at least part of the day. And then they have their own teachers from their own schools who are their chaperones, who take them into Washington to explain the area, because sometimes they go as far as Charlottesville or to Mount Vernon for a day to explore what we have here in our American culture. And they participate in our school activities on the weekends. And then when we go there, our students live with the families of those students who came to see us. And those programs range from 2 to 3 weeks. We're in classes, our students are in classes with native speaking teachers from the host school. And usually, well, I can't say this for Spain, but in general, for a few hours in the morning in France, and then in Spain, I believe that the hours are different depending on the day. But in general, in class for part of the day, and then visiting, getting to know the culture, seeing all the important sites, even taking some trips outside of the cities that we visit to get to know other places in those countries. For the Chile experience, it's just a little different, but because there are only 2 students who come here from Chile, and they're here, and usually in our winter, their summer, for a little bit longer time, some of the time staying with faculty, and then another time, a little more of the time staying in the dorms, and otherwise pretty similar. I hope I covered it.
I know the energy on campus really increases when those exchange students arrive, and I know that the students that do those abroad trips really have life-changing experiences. Before we wrap up, any last comments or anything that you wanted to add that we really haven't had a chance to touch on? I think we're good. I think you guys did a great job of covering everything. Well, thank you, Eleanor and Douglas and Hannah, for sharing your thoughts on your experiences in the language department. It's amazing for our students to be here and have teachers that are so passionate about working with teenagers and passionate about the subject material that they're teaching. So for all the prospective students and parents out there, if you have any questions about our language department, feel free to reach out to me or Eleanor or Douglas or Hannah or any one of our teachers, and we'd be happy to get those answered. But thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to the next steps in the application process.